Hi, thank you for joining me for another process video, and today it's the turn of Christmas in the Davies house. These are two photos that have been printed 3x4 of Ross and Amelia and Ross starting to decorate the tree. We did it this Saturday just gone, and it was great fun. So I've pulled out my scraps again for this layout, and it's all my scraps in my Christmas box. I had this out to create some Christmas cards and thought it would be a great opportunity to document a more recent photo. I've been focusing in so much on our New York trip, which is finally finished. I'll do the flick through the album soon. I thought I would document a more recent photo just to get things going in my current albums again. So you can see I'm just cutting lots of strips of paper. I'm going to create like a Christmas tree down the right hand side of these two photos. So I'm just grabbing predominantly reds, greens, pinks from the scraps and cutting them around about 1/2 inch, but I'm not measuring. You can see I'm just cutting by eye. I'm going through all the different papers that are in my Christmas box to create this Christmas tree shape, and it takes a little while to do, but it's well worth it. And I'm not too fussed if some of the pieces are a bit shorter and some of the pieces are a bit longer. They are going to be offset against one another down the page, and I do want to add some inking behind this tree, so I'm just positioning things, but I'm not actually sticking anything down just yet. I just want to make sure that I've got enough strips before I go on to the second part. So you can see just tiny little bits. This is the branding strip. This would be perfect if you've got lots of Christmas coloured branding strips to create a tree using those. Otherwise I'm just grabbing bits and pieces and just layering them up here. So I will continue to do that. This tree, we have two trees. This one is in our main lounge and holds all of our ornaments that are dear to us, things that we've collected over the years, things that have been tied to presents from friends over the years. And I just love decorating the tree. It's one of my favourite parts of Christmas because all those memories come flooding back as you pull each ornament out. So that first photo of Amelia with Ross looking on at what she's doing is of her putting our ornament from when we went to New York last year. We went to see the Rockettes, and at the end we went and got a Radio City bauble, but we cleared our tree away before we went away last year because the kids and Ross were back to school very quickly once we got home. This year we've got a little bit more time, so it's staying up whilst we go away, but we didn't get a chance to put that out last year, so it was the tree's first outing. So you can see I've just added some dots with a pencil on my page just to mark roughly where that tree is going to go. And then I'm using my blending brush with, I've pulled out iced spruce, but in fact I think this is predominantly mowed lawn that's going down. My brush was still relatively loaded with mowed lawn when I started doing this, and I just wanted to blend a halo, so I'm not dipping too heavily into iced spruce. So you can see I sort of dot it inside where the strips are going to be and then blend the brush around the edge of that tree shape. So that just creates a really nice halo for those strips to sit on, and you can barely see it once the strips are all there, but it is there and it just adds a little bit of interest there. So now I'm going to take each strip and I'm going to rough up the edges with my fingernails and get them stuck down onto the page. So I want these to be slightly offset against one another, some on top and some underneath the other strips, and I'm just going to create a fun pattern going right the way up the page. I am going to continue to embellish it afterwards with washi tape and things, so it will become a little bit more involved but for now I just want to layer up these strips. So I've just left the camera on to show you a few of them that I'm doing, but I just work my way from the bottom as I mentioned, sometimes tucking under, sometimes adding over the top, just trying to find the strips going from largest to smallest here. And then, as if by the magic of filming, here's the strips just about on. So there's the last one going at the top, and you can see some of them are slightly wonky, and then here's that washi tape that I wanted to bring in. So this is a black with gold stars on it, and then I've got another black with white stars which I just add to the top. I then pulled out some spotty tapes and I tore them in half so that they're a thinner width, and they've got that lovely torn edge, and those go on as well. And I will add some glue behind these just to make sure that they stay a long time, because washi does peel up over time if you just leave it as it is. Wasn't happy with that piece, so that comes up. And then this is another one with gold dots on that I'm just going to add another strip Now, I spent ages off camera looking for my 49er Market stitched washi tape. If you know where I've put it, please let me know, because I couldn't find it and I just got frustrated looking for it. So in the end, gave up on that and pulled out my In Stitches stamps from Hey Little Magpie, which are absolutely fantastic. Definitely recommend getting these and adding them to your stash because they look so realistic when they're stamped down. So I'm just going to add a few of the different designs on a few of the strips just to create some more interest and a different texture on this tree, and it really brings it to life. I was very impressed, if I say so myself. So you'll see some of them I'm layering so that I get the right length, and some of them I'll layer smaller bits on top of bigger bits, but just using a lot of the different designs to get different texture on this page. And I'm using my archive link because I don't want these images to smudge or bleed. If I add some more mixed media, I want them to stay crisp. I've got a good feeling at this point that I'm going to use some gold splatters at the very least on this layout, and I do. So I'm pleased that I did go in with the archive link to keep the crisp edges and not have anything bleeding and turning into a soggy mess on my page. So almost there now, just adding a few more strips of stitching, and like I say, using lots of different designs of stamps so that I get the different textures on there. That one wasn't long enough, so you see I just stamped it twice and it looks really good. And then these are some of the smaller ones that I'm overlapping onto other bits. And I love those little tails that the stamps have on them as well. This is a little cross stitch, so I'm just adding that over the top of the running stitch stamp. Just adding it in a few different places. And then I think I'm done, and then I spot another one that I want to use. So just adding that in, and this is a more concentrated zigzag. So just add that to that red, and then at the bottom as well. So that's the stamping done, and now I can turn my attention to the photos. So I'm going to map them onto white cardstock and then onto a couple of the papers, just for interest. So because my card wasn't quite wide enough, I decided rather than grabbing another piece of card, I'm just going to trim the photos down slightly and add them so that they fit. So just a couple of mils came off the top of that photo. There was nothing really that was taken from the photo, so that was fine. And then just trimming these apart so that I can add some mats of paper. I'm going to come in with some pattern papers as well. So probably, definitely actually using the papers that I've used in that tree. So this one first, which is towards the top. I think it's the second strip down. And then this lovely pink with the trees on, which in fact is the paper below that. I'm also going to use this spotty paper on the other photo. I decided to add the pink to this one. And I'm just adding 2 layers. That's enough. They weren't big enough to fully mat the photo, so I just offset them against one another, and that looks really nice. It creates a bit of interest again around the photo. So here's that second one. So this can be fully matted with that dotty paper. So I create a complete mat, and then I'm going to use the branding strip at the top, just as a little strip down the right hand side. So just adding that first and roughing up the edges. It's just a little bit wide, so just trimming it down. And then here's that lovely branding strip. So just getting that taped down. And then the doorbell went and Mum popped over for a coffee. So there's just a little break here once I put that down, and then I'll come back to it. So I grabbed my Peppermint Kisses, I think it's called Peppermint Kisses, from Vicky Booton. It was her Christmas collection last year, and this is the paper e-pack. And I'm just having a look through. I didn't want to do too much embellishing on this page, but it needed a little bit more interest. So there are loads of different pine branches in here. So I started by pulling some of those out, but they were huge and they were way too big for these small photos on this particular layout. I'm excited to use them on a future layout, but definitely not this one. So I had a little play, but it just wasn't happening for me. So I pull those off and I find a paper one. I'm still trying to work out which star to use at the top as well. I really wanted a gold star, and then I saw this snowflake and I thought maybe that would work, but I do find a different one in the end. Here's that paper pine leaf that I found, that pine branch, that fits much better. So that's just going to go along the bottom underneath that bottom photo. And then the title I found, Oh What Fun, and it always is fun and a joy to put the trees up, so just put that there. This little stamp I'm just going to use as a tiny tucking in piece at the bottom there. It's just peeking out and it looks almost like a little frame at the bottom, and I've got that lovely gold heart on acetate that's going over the top, and then I found a little red one to offset it on the bottom left. So struggling with the backing on that sticker, but I do get it off and get that stuck down, and then the heart, and then I'll add that gold heart in the top right, and I'm just going to add a tiny bit of glue behind it. You have to be careful with acetate pieces that the glue doesn't show through. So just adding that stamp first of all, like I say, just to look like a little frame poking out from behind there as another layer, and then just adding the glue where the gold foiling is. So gluing this pine branch down as well, and then the photos, of course, and then I can see what else I can find. I've got so many bits and pieces in my Christmas box, it's not even funny anymore, so I really need to do a few more layouts. I've been doing a lot off camera because I've been doing layouts for the nest box kit that Hey Little Magpie do with Jackie Ashton, and I've done 9 layouts plus one more to go up this week for that. So I've been doing quite a lot of Christmas, but you just haven't seen it because it's part of Nest Box. So if you want to join that, that's on Hey Little Magpie. Just use the search box for Nest Box and that will come up. So just adding a few of these chipboard pieces. I found these strips, one that says This Makes Me Happy and one that says Winter Wonderland, and I thought they would work really nicely as other layers on that tree. That's about it. I've got a couple of little arrow pieces. One says Twinkle Lights and one says Decorating, and then I found this tab which I thought would be nice to hold my date. So just adding that to the left, and I do glue all these down with wet glue because the adhesive is failing very quickly on this chipboard. It always does. Any collection, whether it's an American Crafts or a Simple Stories, the adhesive does fail on chipboard, so you do need to reinforce it really. So just getting that tab down where I want it, and then this last piece that says Decorating. And then I can add my date. And this is a great way of remembering when you put the tree up each year, because we never remember. We can never remember when we've done it the year before. So at least it's in my album now, so I can see. So I'm just going to stick down that vellum star at the top. Again, just adding glue in the middle. And then I decided it needed a little bit more something around the edges. So I've just pulled out this Vicky Boutin stencil, and I'm just using what's left on my brush. So it's definitely what's left of the mowed lawn that's just going around the edge with this lovely X and dot and dash sort of pattern. So just blending it all the way around. Like I say, it's very, very subtle, just like the haze of ink that I put around the tree is very subtle, but it all adds interest rather than it being a stark white background. Almost there. I want to get it all the way around the tree, so I do want to put some at the bottom as well, almost like a little pot at the bottom. So just in that middle section there. And that's that done. And then here I am with my gold splatters. So I just wanted to cover up the photos so they don't get splattered. And then I go in heavy with my big brush. And that's the layout done. I hope this has inspired you to scrap your current photos from your Christmas 2024. Other than that, I shall see you again very soon. Thank you so much for joining me. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you've enjoyed this. Thanks again. Bye.